Hello and welcome to another windy Orkney and this is a Citroen C on a 2012 plate, and it's in white as you can see, and it's in great condition. It is what it is. We sell lots of these, extremely great value for money and very popular. It's got the one remote key. Great thing about the C based on a Mitsubishi i-MiEV, when you lock the car, wing mirrors fold in, which is quite neat. It's very clean. We've just had it valeted. The granny cable is here with an extra long cable that's been installed on the end, so it's an extremely long granny cable which will charge this at 10 amps. The back seats also fold flat, which is really useful on the C. This is the same vehicle as the Peugeot Ion as well. Some proper Citroen overmats in all 4 footwells. We've just had it MOT'd, electric windows, nice clean door cards, and well, the 2 flaps here, I'll just show you this. This is a rapid charging flap, so when you pull this up and you walk around this side, the near side of the rear of the car, that's the CHAdeMO rapid charge connection. That will charge this in around 17 or 18 minutes off a rapid charger, and this connection here is operated by this flap, and this is for your granny cable or your type 1 to type 2 cable for fast chargers and home charging that will charge either at 10 amps or 16 amps. So actually most popular, but it's got rapid charge connection as well. 4 electric windows, remote central locking, electric mirrors, height adjustment on the driver's seat. There are no rips or tears to any of the upholstery. Overmats, and also there's a nice thick aftermarket heavy duty rubber floor mat in the driver's footwell as well. So now we're out of the wind. We pop the key in the ignition like a conventional car, put your foot on the brake, turn and hold till you hear a bing bong. That's it, the car is now running. I'll explain all the features to you when you come to see the vehicle, but there's basically like almost a fuel gauge on this side with segments that go out. So P is denoting the gear we're in, which is park. Like a normal automatic gearbox, we've got park, reverse, neutral and drive, and you can only move this with your foot on the brake. Selects whatever drive direction you want, and whatever you're in is displayed here. So there's the D for drive, N for neutral, reverse and P for park. Over on the right hand side we have various functions you can scroll around. That's the total mileage, 20,455 miles, and with this little pin here you can actually scroll round. So there's trip A, trip B, intensity lights of the dashboard at night which you can adjust, miles till next service, 54,600 miles to go, so not a lot of servicing required. Months left for the next service, which you can basically ignore. And most people of these great little electric vehicles leave this display on, which gives you the guesstimated range that's left. So it's saying 31 miles and we're just over half charged, which for this time of year is absolutely spot on. Now the guessometer range is always what it is. It's guessing based on how it's been driven, temperature, various other factors. So it is a real rough guide as to how much the car says that you've got left. Normal radio CD player with all the normal things you'd expect, with Bluetooth as well. The heater, as with all of these vehicles, is basically the old type where it's heating up some water, so it is quite hungry on the power. But for short trips that's quite fine. If you just basically, your aircon as well, if you want to clear the screen of mist, if you put it on the screen, have this dial just pointing to the green knob, which means it's not cooling and it's not heating, it's just pulling in fresh air from outside, and the fan, you don't lose any range, but you enable then to keep the windscreen clear of any mist. Now should you want heat, it's showing 31 miles now. The minute I turn the heat on, you'll see it automatically drop. Now it says 25 miles. So it's always very pessimistic but if you've got less than 10 miles to go or 20 miles, obviously you can enjoy the benefit of having some heat. But everything works exactly as it should. Power assisted steering, I've got auto headlights, got wipers front and rear. Everything works exactly as it should. We also have all the manuals that are here that came with the car when it was brand new, and also the service book and the V5, which I'll show you now. So with one hand, there we have. So it was previously a lease plan vehicle, and then a business had it, a Jonathan Cutter down in Sudbury, and then we've bought it from him. So basics of the vehicle are, it's a 23rd of April 2012 car, Citroen C0, taxation class electric. We've recently had the car checked over at CS Omand in Stromness, and its current MOT expires the 4th of December 2018. Just some advisories, being the brake disc worn or pitted or scored. Basically this vehicle's been standing for a while, so it just needs to use the brakes, so the disc will clean up. And there is a crack to the windscreen. We're having the windscreen replaced next week, so the car is absolutely ready to go. It's also taxed, which I'm allowed to do till next year at the cost of £0. The service book is here. Like I said, there's not an awful lot to service on an electric vehicle, and it's showing one stamp, but it would have been looked after. Very often these forget to be stamped, but it was last serviced officially at 15,000 miles. But say this has just been to CS Omand in Stromness, and the service is a bit like an MOT. They check the tyres are okay and the wipers, etc. So just take it that this vehicle is absolutely fine and ready to go. So before I walk you around the C0, I'll just take you for a short test drive. So welcome to the test drive. So we're in D for drive. Release the handbrake, squeeze the accelerator as you're doing a normal automatic. And as you can probably hear, you can now hear the hail hitting the car. And away we go. First thing you notice is how quiet an electric car is, but not very quiet when it's hailing. Drives like all the other Citroen C0, Peugeot Ion, Mitsubishi i-MiEV that we've had. Lovely and straight. We have a needle in the middle of the dash that tells you whether you're in the eco zone, which obviously is the most economical way of drawing power. And when you come off the accelerator, this red needle goes into the charge zone, which is basically indicating that the car is doing what we call regenerative braking. And what that basically means is the electric motor that's providing the power to the car, because you're not asking for any power, the rotation of the wheels turns the electric motor, creates electricity and pushes that back into the battery, thus increasing your range. So regen braking is on all electric vehicles and is vital to getting the best out of them. What else can I say? Drives lovely and straight, everything works on the car. Been checked over recently by Conrad at CS Omand, who now is an EV servicing specialist, and yeah, here on Orkney. Now this is with me now on Orkney. If you want something similar, we can supply UK wide, of which we do. Probably 90% of our business is here on Orkney, but I say a good 10% is for people down south. I have a colleague, James, of James and Kate, look them up on YouTube, who collect and supply vehicles that we can sell down south. And if you live in the mainland Scotland, then we can supply to you there as well. We've put quite a few of these electric vehicles on the Aberdeen boat down to Aberdeen from Orkney, and then customers have collected from the Aberdeen docks. Anyway, so come off the brake. I've only just touched the brakes, come off the accelerator, use the regen to turn around. No undue noises, everything works as it should, and this is a great value for money electric vehicle. Cost per mile around about 2p. Rapid charging and public charging here on Orkney is still without cost. You just need a Charge Place Scotland card, which is £20 a year annual subscription. But then all the public charging is still without cost. There will be a cost in the future, but there are no plans at the moment. But even if you should fill up on your own electricity, it's going to cost on a cheap rate around about £1.50 to fill this, to do around about 60 miles, which is the maximum range in the summer that you will get out of this little Citroen C0. So I'm just going to come off the accelerator. I'm coming down from 43, 37, 38, 33, 32 miles an hour. Regenning, just a little bit of brake, tiny bit of brake, and come to a stop, which is the other reason that the brake discs need a little bit of work, just to take that surface rust off them. So that concludes the very short test drive, and I'll take you now for a final walk around this C0. So welcome back from the test drive. So all the tyres are really good. All the alloys are showing a little bit of corrosion to the spokes, which is normal on these C0s of this age. Nothing to be worried about, but lots of tread on the tyres. It needs another wash, but there are no chips or dents or marks down this side. Again, the rear tyre is fine, lots and lots of tread on the back. Oh, I'd say it's practically a brand new tyre. Again, a little bit of lifting of the alloy on the rear. We have a tiny bit of marks here. I'll touch this in with a touch-in pen, but nothing to be worried about. These are plastic bumpers. Very brand new tyre on the back, very recent. This alloy is not too bad with regard to the silver lifting. Again, it is clean, it's just that it needs a wash. And again, lots of tread on the front tyre. Again, a little bit of corrosion on the spokes of the alloy, and a little bit of grazing on the near side front. Front of the car's nice and clean. So I'm getting the windscreen replaced, as there is a crack here, so that's being replaced. All in all, a cracking little C0. So I hope this has been useful. Look forward to speaking to you soon.